If you're selling on Long Island and buying in North Carolina at the same exact time like I did, here's where most people get jammed up. They think both states move the same exact way and they don't, not even close. This is not one move, it's two separate deals in two different systems with two different timelines, different pressure, and of course different risks. So I made this move myself and now help people like you make the same move here to coastal North Carolina. And the biggest mistake that I see people making is trying to buy in North Carolina before the Long Island house is actually under control. And that's where the problems start. If your down payment is coming from your Long Island house, then your North Carolina purchase is only as real as that sale. It's, not the plan, not the listing appointment, not the verbal offer you got, the actual sale of your home. And that's the part people try to skip. They'll say, we'll list, get an offer, and line it all up. And sometimes that works, and a lot of times it doesn't. So here's the order that gives you the best chance to stay in control. First, get the Long Island house fully ready for market. Not almost ready, definitely ready. You gotta make sure it's clean, priced right, photographed right, and positioned to move. Because every extra week that house sits on the market makes the North Carolina side harder. Second, once you go active, you need a real buyer. Not somebody circling, not somebody thinking about it. A real buyer who is qualified, serious, and moving towards contract. Third, once you're in contract on Long Island, that's when the North Carolina side gets real, not before. That does not mean you run down here and jump on the first house you see. It means now you can build the purchase timeline around actual progress and not hope. And that matters because North Carolina has its own contract pace. So once you get a house under contract here, the clock starts moving fast. Inspections, insurance, lender timing, title work, repair discussions, appraisal, all that stuff is getting done quickly. So if your Long Island sale slips, that delay can hit everything on the North Carolina side. And that's why the safest move is usually not the fastest move. The safest move is this. Get the Long Island house ready, get it listed, get into real contract, know where your proceeds stand, then go aggressive in North Carolina with a timeline that matches the reality of when your house is going to close. That is how you avoid getting squeezed, because the expensive mistake is not buying the wrong house. It's the expensive mistake is getting under contract in North Carolina before your New York side is really under control. And that's when people start making bad decisions. They rush the inspections, they ignore insurance, they settle for the wrong location. They panic when one closing date starts chasing the other. And here's another thing that Long Island sellers need to hear. Your move does not start when the moving truck shows up. It starts when the sales strategy is built. Now that order matters so much. The pricing matters, the contract strength matters. And once you get down here, the timing matters. So if the Long Island side is handled correctly, you shop differently in North Carolina. You're gonna be calmer, you're gonna be clearer, you're gonna make better decisions. And you could actually compare areas, monthly costs, insurance, flood exposure, and commute without feeling desperate just to grab something. And that's a huge advantage, especially for Long Island buyers who come down here thinking everything in North Carolina is easier. Some parts are, but some parts are definitely not. The systems are different, the timing is different, the risk points are different. So if you're thinking about selling on Long Island and buying in North Carolina at the same time like I did, don't wing it. Talk to me before you list your home, before you book the trip, and definitely before you write an offer down here. I'll help you build the timeline the right way, and I've got a team back on Long Island that works with me so both sides move together the way they should. I moved from Long Island, so I understand the parts of selling your home up there, then coming down here and finding a home. I did make some mistakes along the way, but now I get to help people make sure that they don't make the same exact mistakes. So give me a call. I would love to talk to you. All my information's in the video description below. I'm from Long Island, you're from Long Island. I got your back. It's great down here, and I'm always here if you have questions. I'll see you in the next video.